Two words, buckle up. 29-year-old Christine Chubbuck did something on live television that traumatized an entire community. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. Christine was hired at a news station called WXLT-TX, and she was later given her own show called Suncoast Digest, where she talked about recent crimes. A little bit about her: she was severely depressed and tried to unalive herself in 1970, but failed. She even made several comments on air about taking her own life, and her news partner just awkwardly moved on. On the morning of July 15th, 1974, she confused her coworkers by saying that she had to open up for Suncoast Digest, which she normally did not do.
Immediate and complete reports of local blood and guts news. TV40 presents what is believed to be a television first in living color, exclusive coverage of an attempted suicide.
She then drew a weapon, unalived herself, and the broadcast rapidly went black. The terrifying Munchkin scene, and yes, I will be showing the video. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. It is believed that an actor who played as a Munchkin can be seen hanging themselves during the scene known as Tin Woodman's sequence. The director of the movie quickly debunked the claim, saying that it was just a shadow that happened to show up as the cast was moving. What is interesting was when The Wizard of Oz was re-released in 1989 for its 50th anniversary, the confusing footage had been cleaned up. The birds appeared in a different place and there's no swinging shadow, but here's the clip.
Because of the wonderful things he's done, we're out to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Let me know, real or fake. I totally understand if you guys are having a hard time sleeping after this video, so I encourage you to get the melatonin diffuser from Cloudy, and it will help you fall asleep in minutes. The sinister truth behind the Cleveland Strangler. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. In September of 2009, 50-year-old Anthony Powell invited Latundra Billups for a drink. When entering, she reported that his home smelled as if something had died inside, and when Anthony was asked about the smell, he claimed that it was his stepmother who didn't live there anymore. Once he became extremely intoxicated, something in him snapped. He beat, choked, and R-worded Latundra until she passed out. However, she was able to make it out alive. A couple months later, police obtained an arrest warrant, and that is where they discovered 2 female bodies in his basement, 4 other deceased women on the 3rd floor and in crawl spaces, and yet another woman buried in the backyard. He was arrested and sentenced to death and passed away from terminal illness in 2021. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know about the White Widow in under 1 minute. Samantha Luthway is a British woman who is known to be married to the guy who committed the 7/7 London bombings that happened in 2005. Even though he passed away on that day, that was only the beginning for Samantha's long reign of terror. She was accused of the bombing of the football bar in 2012, a mall fire and collapse of the Westgate shopping mall in September of 2013, and several other bombings that led her to being accused of over 400 deaths. She was quickly given the name the White Widow, and here's the information you don't want to hear. She still has not been found. The only information that we have is from February of 2022, when her uncle claimed that he believed she was dead. However, authorities believe that she's actually hiding in a shelter somewhere and is extremely dangerous. 10-year-old Candace Elmore was put up for adoption as her mom was a teen mom and struggled financially, and her father abused her. She was adopted by a single woman who was a pediatric nurse. Due to Candace having a, quote, poor attitude, she was sent to a $7,000 2-week therapy session. A fun fact, all 4 of these therapists did not have licenses. They wanted to perform a rebirthing session, which is where they wrap her in a flannel sheet and put pillows over her face. This apparently simulates a womb and makes the person more attached to their birth mother. For 40 minutes, they pushed the pillow onto her face while she begged for her life, and when she lost consciousness, they began shouting, "Quitter, quitter, quitter." At one point, Candace even claimed that she was dying, and they stated, and I quote, "Go ahead, die right now, for real, for real." Unfortunately, she did pass away after those 40 minutes. However, all 4 of them were arrested. 2 of them got 10 years, and the other 2 got 16. But honestly, I think they all deserved life. On August 31st, 2022, the Davis family were under a lot of stress after their 16-year-old son, Gabriel Davis, was nowhere to be found. They immediately alerted police, and for 36 brutal hours, he went missing until he was found with no shoes or shirt on and foot injuries indicating he was walking barefoot in the woods. When police asked him what happened, he claimed that he was too afraid to speak because the, quote, people might hurt him. The same day, police were called to Daniel McCaw's home after he didn't show up to work. Upon entering the dim-lit home, they were greeted with the smell of death. There lay the unalived body of Daniel. Police later put together that Daniel was Gabriel's mother's ex-boyfriend. When they obtained his surveillance footage, they saw Gabriel and his friend 16-year-old Justin Yoon entering Daniel's home. They brutally unalived him. I can now say that because as of literally a week ago, Justin and Gabriel both pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and are now awaiting sentencing. Hi, I'm Ethan, and we'll be diving into crazy crime cases with insane twists I didn't see coming. In December of 1997, Luz Cuevas was doing her nightly check-ins on her children as they were going to bed when she noticed that her daughter's crib was empty. Leaving her daughter's room, she noticed that there was smoke in the hallway, and before she knew it, her house was up in flames. She ran into the rooms, grabbed her children, and brought them all to safety, except the baby that was missing. What shocked her was police said that her newborn daughter had passed away in the fire. Obviously, she was devastated, but then began yelling at the police, saying that someone had kidnapped her daughter prior to the fire. No one really listened to her. They all interpreted it as a bad way of grieving. However, in 2003, Luz went to a birthday party where she saw a familiar face. This face looked like her daughter. She was able to obtain a DNA sample, and when that came back, it proved that that actually was her daughter. A woman with the name of Carolyn Correa had kidnapped Luz's daughter and set her house on fire. She was sentenced between 9 and 30 years, but since then I've not seen any reports stating that she has been released.
It's just a cigarette and it cannot be that bad. Honey, don't you love me?
From the years of 2001 to 2012, every United States citizen was at a higher risk at being attacked or even unalived. 34-year-old Israel Keys is known as America's most spontaneous serial killer to ever exist. From those years, he committed, quote, arson, kidnapping, essay, robbery, bank robbery, and even murder. His crimes were so random, had no motive, that police had a hard time connecting all of these separate crimes to one person. Let me ask, why did it take so long for him to get arrested if he committed so many different crimes? I digress, but one of his most gruesome crimes was the unaliving of 13-year-old Julie Harris. She was a Special Olympics medalist when she disappeared in thin air, and shortly after, her remains were found in the woods. The scene was so gruesome that her death was declared as undetermined. On March 13th, 2012, after a robbery, Israel was finally arrested. When police accused him of all of these crimes, he neither confirmed or denied doing any of these. And on December 2nd of that same year, he unalived himself in jail before he was given a sentence.
But it exploded, and they were both found dead. She must have been out of her head.
Everyone knows our girl Judge Judy, right? Back in 2018, she had a guest on her show with the name of Justin Hike, who is 24 years old and was suing his then girlfriend of damaging his clothes during a DV call to police. Ironically enough, Judge Judy ruled it in his favor. On August 2nd of this year, now 29-year-old Justin, whose actual name is Nagasi Zuberi, was arrested after a woman had escaped his man-made cell. The story goes, on July 15th, 2023, he drove and picked up an S-worker where he claimed that he was an undercover cop, then handcuffing her arms and legs and pointing a taser at her. He then drove 450 miles where periodically he would essay her throughout the trip, and then thrown her into a garage that was walled off by cinder blocks, and the door itself was put in backwards so she couldn't open it from the inside. For 18 brutal days, she remained chained and was essayed daily. Daily, she would bang on the metal garage door, and finally she was able to break through and escape. Since it's so recent, it's still alleged. However, he is now awaiting trial.